Today, I will be refuting some of Miss Helm's points on our both of our joint topics, the death penalty, and more specifically, her stance um, is that the death penalty is a necessary form of justice. So I will be attempting to refute her five main points, which are proportional justice, deterrence and prevention, public safety, and modern safeguards, and ethical accountability. Should be noted that I'm arguing against the death penalty. My position is that the death penalty is a net evil for society and should not be allowed. So, justice proportionate to the crime. She had that some crimes require the highest level of accountability. An example is Timothy McVeigh in the Oklahoma City bombing. Execution recognized the scale, gravity of the crime. So, in this slide, she believes that some crimes deserve what she calls the highest level of accountability, which is referring to the death penalty. I, on the other hand, believe that no matter what the crime is, it is never acceptable for the state or anyone else, for that matter, to kind of allow themselves to go down to that level of the criminal and take a life. If you take a life of someone who took a life, I firmly believe that you are no better than that person in the first place. Deterrence and prevention of further harm. Ms. Helms argues that execute offenders cannot kill again. Ted Bundy murdered additional victims after escaping custody. The death penalty prevented any further harm. So, what my kind of retort to that is, since the beginning of civilization, people have been using the death penalty as a way to try to deter crime, and it seems to have never really been that big of a deterrence. People still, even when the death penalty was common, people still committed crimes. So I don't really see, in a modern context where it's not so common, it preventing people from committing those crimes. It only serves as an obstacle for criminals, not a deterrence. So, and then as for the prevention of criminal reoffending, once released from captivity, I believe that is on the justice system, who failed to see the signs that they were not released, such as Ted Bundy, who should not have been released. Oh. Cut. Such as Ted Bundy, who should have been under more scrutinized supervision and should not have been able to escape custody. My third point is that you can't justify killing someone because of something they might do. Right? This argument is assuming that these offenders would kill again, and thus that is why they're being executed. When at that point it's just conjecture, like you don't know if they will or not, and so it goes against one of America's core beliefs, is that you're innocent until proven guilty. And so basically what we're doing when we look at it that way is we're killing people for a crime that they might commit. And thus they're already guilty for something they haven't even done. Protecting society and prison safety. Life sentences do not eliminate danger fully. Clarence Ray Allen ordered multiple murders from prison, and execution prevents continued harm. This is the same argument as before, and with prevention of harm by killing. still killing somebody for something they might do is still not justifiable, even in a prison setting. I believe there are other options that you can put in place, policy and other safety options to reduce violence in prison that does not end up taking somebody's life. Sorry. Modern safeguards increase fairness. DNA testing reduces wrongful conviction risks. Kirk Bloodsworth, exonerated, led to system reforms and focusing on improving safeguards, not eliminations. So, this argument that DNA testing reduces reduces wrongful conviction risks is not necessarily true, and there are many factors that go into DNA testing process. As I argued in my previous presentation, DNA testing is often flawed. It has a history of leading to false convictions and even wrongful executions. Unless we develop some foolproof way to do DNA testing, so that we are beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is the perpetrator, DNA testing should not be used when someone's life is on the line. Because it is not 100% foolproof. And in a case where somebody might be executed, you need beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are guilty. And DNA testing cannot provide that. So ethical responsibility and moral accountability. Moral responsibility requires proportional consequences. Kantian ethics, taking a life forfeits one's right to live. And Dylann Roof's death sentence reflects society's moral stance. So I'm going to focus on the Kantian ethics. So one of the main One of the main criticisms of Kant's ethics is how rigid they are. Kant doesn't really allow for complex situation in his ethics, and deciding to put someone on death row, take someone's life, is very complex, and so I don't think that Kant should be used in an argument for the death sentence. It just doesn't really grasp the complexity of the situation. And I just believe that this eye for an eye mentality is just ultimately harmful for a society that prides itself on justice. So, in conclusion, Ms. Helms made some very good points in this presentation. I found it challenging to debate some of her points. I agree with her last statement that the death penalty used carefully affirms the value of innocent life. But the problem is that the death penalty